Hello, my name is Anna Ronsky. I'm 35 years old and I live in Kettle, New Jersey. But I didn't always live in the United States. I was born in Kluksbork, Poland. I loved living in Poland. I enjoyed my life there. I was very happy. But my mom wanted to live in the United States so she could have a better life for herself and for me. When I was 10 years old, my mom moved to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and lived with an aunt and uncle there. She found a job and began preparing for my arrival. She would also need to prove that she was able to support me and have health insurance for us both before I could come here. So over the next few years, my mom married a man named John. She then moved to Wallington, New Jersey, and began working at Owens, Illinois. Soon she was ready to bring me to the United States. We missed each other very much. When I was 13 years old and ready to go into high school as a freshman, I came to America. My first plane ride was coming to America. I was with my grandmother. We came from Poland and landed in JFK Airport in New York. I was amazed to see New York City, but I was only mildly interested in living here. I wanted to stay in Poland. I had a few English classes over the summer before my freshman year, but I knew very little English by the time school started. On my first day of school, I was amazed by how people dressed and acted. We wore uniforms all through high school in Poland. I was shocked at how the other students treated teachers. We were not allowed to speak unless the teacher asked a question in Poland. When the teacher left the room, we remained silent until she came back. I was shocked at this new world. During my first week in high school, I met my best friend, Marzi. She was also from Poland. She was actually on the same flight to America as I was, but we never even saw each other on the plane. We're still best friends over 20 years later. For many years, I missed my family in Poland. We were lucky to live in a Polish neighborhood in New Jersey, so we had many familiar foods, churches, and people who spoke my language. My grandma continued to live with us for a few years, but she could never get used to America and eventually went back to Poland. 2 years later, my cousin Justine came to live with us from Poland. She's 2 years younger than me. She's the daughter of my mother's sister. We lived together like we were sisters. I was never lonely once she moved in with us. And I was also happy she came because now the aunt who took care of me while my mother was in America and I stayed behind in Poland would be visiting us more often. I became very used to America and eventually met my husband Rob while hanging out with friends. It's funny, at first I didn't even like him. I thought he was arrogant and he came from a very wealthy family. But eventually our similarities won me over. His parents were also from Poland. His dad built a very successful business in New Jersey, and they welcomed me into their family, and we were eventually married. 5 years later, I had my beautiful son Nicholas. Also 5 years after I got married, my cousin Justine married, and once again we celebrated with all of our families in attendance. It's hard to believe that not long ago I was living in Poland very happily. I didn't want to come to America, and once I got here I didn't want to stay. However, I'm glad I did. I have a wonderful life and a beautiful child. We still go back to Poland at least every 2 years. We have a family apartment there. I love both countries now, but now I call America home.